Hello and welcome to this MongoDB tutorial. Basically, this tutorial is part of the complete course that is MongoDB with Spring Boot. You will get the link for the course in the description. So let me give you overview of this course. So in this course, you will learn MongoDB in detail by performing CRUD operations, and you will learn how to write in query, or query, and query, like query, starts with query. And in the later part of the course, you will learn all these things with Spring Boot application using Spring Data, MongoDB and Mongo repository. You will also learn to deploy your Spring Boot application as jar packaging to Pivotal Cloud Foundry along with MongoDB. So there we will have MongoDB on cloud using MLab. So let's begin with the MongoDB tutorial. Hello and welcome back. In this course, you are going to learn MongoDB. So let's first see what is MongoDB. So MongoDB is document-based NoSQL database. So as of now, there are many NoSQL databases in the market like Cassandra, CouchDB, Redis, and many more. But MongoDB is in the top of the NoSQL database list. It is the most widely used NoSQL database in the world. MongoDB stores the data in the format of JSON-like documents. So the underlying thing is that it stores the data in the binary format of JSON, which is called bson. MongoDB is having very flexible structure. In SQL database, can you imagine for a particular table, each row can have different number of columns? No, right? In MongoDB, each record can have different number of fields. So the column from SQL database is referred as field in the MongoDB. So this is the flexibility of MongoDB. MongoDB can easily handle large amount of data. Are you planning to use MongoDB in your application? If yes, then that's a good choice because there are well-known companies like Google, Adobe, Cisco, SAP, and eBay, and many more companies are already using MongoDB in their applications. So this is all about MongoDB. We will proceed further in the next lecture. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, we will see the difference between SQL and NoSQL database. Say for an example, in SQL database, we have student table and that is having relationship with department table and also with the subject table with the help of foreign key. Now, if we want to have all the details for the particular student, including the department and subject details, we need to write joins. And then only we will get all the details. So joins are complex and will take some time to execute our query. Now let's come to NoSQL. So in NoSQL, what happens? All these details for the student, department, and subject are getting stored as a single record. So mostly in NoSQL databases, there are no relationships. And that's why you don't need to write joins. So the execution of the query in the NoSQL database is a lot faster than the SQL database. Now in NoSQL databases, relationships are not preferred. But that doesn't mean that NoSQL databases doesn't support relationships. There are some NoSQL databases which support relationship as well. But in NoSQL databases, relationships are not preferred. Because not having the relationship is the biggest advantage of the NoSQL database. And if you have relationship in the NoSQL database, then why to migrate from SQL database to NoSQL database? Because in SQL database as well, you have relationship with the help of foreign key concept, then why to move to NoSQL database? So this is the biggest advantage of NoSQL database over the SQL database. And for other differences, you will come to know as we proceed in the course. So that's all for now. We'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to understand MongoDB terms. So first, we will take the reference of SQL terms to understand the MongoDB terms. And the reason is that we are much familiar with the SQL terms. So here is the SQL structure for the student table. So we have ID column, that is basically primary key, name, date of birth, mail, and department ID. So this department ID is referring to the department table. So department ID is foreign key and referring to the department table. So this is very simple student table structure we are having here. Now let's understand MongoDB terms by taking the reference of SQL terms. So in SQL we have database, and in MongoDB as well we have database. Now inside the database we have table in SQL. In MongoDB we refer table as collection. So inside the database we have collections. So table is referred as collection in MongoDB. Now each table has some set of columns, while in MongoDB each collection has some set of fields. So the column is termed as field in MongoDB. Now inside the table we have records, that is basically row, and that is referred as document. So the record inside the collection is termed as document. Now in SQL we have the concept of foreign key to refer to the another SQL table. In MongoDB we have subdocument. So there are two things possible over here: subdocument without reference and subdocument with reference. So both of these we will cover in the later part of the course. Now we have some idea of MongoDB terms. So let's look at the student collection. And this is one document that we are going to see. So it will have ID field, name, date of birth, and department. So here department is separate document. So document inside a document, that is subdocument. So here department is subdocument which has its own set of fields and values. As I already mentioned, we can have subdocument without reference and subdocument with reference. And both of these we will cover in the later part of the course. So this is subdocument, that's why I have highlighted it with different color. Now MongoDB stores each document in the format of JSON. So each document will look like JSON. So these are the fields of the JSON, you can say. So we can have array as well, something like this. Say student is learning the subjects. So here this is array, and this is the array of subdocument. So this is one subdocument which is subject subdocument, you can say, which has its own set of fields, subject name and marks obtained. And here is another subdocument, and you can have many as well because this is array. So this is the array of subdocument. Don't get confused, because when we will see the practical part to create the document and doing the CRUD operations, you will get better idea how the JSON will look like. But still, if you want to have a look that how MongoDB will store a particular document in the format of JSON, then here it is. We have fields ID, name, date of birth, and this is department subdocument, and it has its own set of fields. And this is subjects. See, this is the array. So here is one subdocument and here is second subdocument, and that is inside the array. So don't get confused. When we will perform CRUD operations, we will build this JSON so that you will get better idea. As of now, just try to understand the MongoDB terms by taking the reference of SQL terms. So that's all for the MongoDB terms. We'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to install MongoDB server in our local machine. So to download the MongoDB server, go to the official website, that is mongodb.com, and just go to the server tab. Now choose your operating system and the package. So if you are using Windows operating system, then I would highly recommend to download the MSI package, that is basically installer, not the zip. So from here you can download it for the 64-bit machine. So if you have 32-bit system machine, then here is the URL to download for the 32-bit. From here, you can download the MongoDB server for 32-bit. So just download the setup and run it. It is very simple process to just click on the next. So I have already done it. So if you go inside the program files, then you will see the MongoDB directory will get created. So go inside the server, the version and bin. To start the MongoDB server in our local machine, we need to run the MongoDB.exe file. So run it. So it has not started. We might have faced some error. So here there are two things we need to do after the installation. The first is creating two folders inside the C drive. And the reason is that we have MongoDB server inside the C drive. So let's go to the C drive, and here we need to create two folders. One is data, and inside data we need to create DB. If you have installed MongoDB server in D drive, then you need to create these folders inside the D drive. But follow this hierarchy: C drive, data, DB. In the same way, if you have D drive, then D drive, data, DB. Now the second thing is we need to run one command for storage engine. So here is the command, and I'm going to provide this command in the attachment of the lecture so you can get it easily. So copy this command, go inside the bin directory of MongoDB server, open the command prompt and just paste it and run. See, it has started the MongoDB server on port 27017. So yes, we have successfully installed and started MongoDB server in our local machine. Now these two things we don't need to do each and every time we want to start the MongoDB server in our local machine. So if you look at the DB directory, then you will see there are some files and folders being created by the MongoDB. So don't alter anything in this, because this is going to be managed by MongoDB. Whatever database and collection documents we are going to have, it will get managed by MongoDB in this directory. So don't change anything in this. Now the second thing is about that command of the storage engine. So let's stop this MongoDB server and close it. And now if you want to run it again MongoDB server in our local machine, just run this exe file, that is mongodb.exe. See, it has started the MongoDB server on port 27017. So creating the data and DB directory, running the storage engine command is just a one-time process while installing the MongoDB server. After that, we just need to run this mongodb.exe to start the MongoDB server in our local machine. If you are using operating system other than Windows like Ubuntu or Mac, and you are facing issue while installing or starting the MongoDB server, then drop me a message or post in this question and answer board and I will get back to you. So in this lecture, we have installed MongoDB server and started it in our local machine on port 27017. So that's all for now. We'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to install Studio 3T for MongoDB. So Studio 3T is UI connector for MongoDB so that we can manage our database, collection and documents. So it seems like SQL databases. We are preferring some UI connector to manage our database, tables, writing the queries and doing a lot of things with our database. Say for MySQL database, we have MySQL Workbench, that is UI connector. For Postgres database, we have pgadmin. So in the same way, we have Studio 3T for MongoDB. Obviously, we can write the MongoDB queries with the terminal as well. And we will cover that in the later part of the course as well. But it is very easy and time saving to have UI connector to manage our MongoDB database, collections and documents. So here is the official website of Studio 3T. just go to the download page and according to your operating system and bit, just download the Studio 3T for your local machine and install it, because it is very easy to install. So I am not following those steps over here. I have already installed Studio 3T in my local machine. So after installing the Studio 3T, just open it and it will be look like this. On the laptop, you will see option to connect. Click on the new connection. So as of now, our MongoDB server is running on port 27017 in our local machine, and that is already provided here. So we don't need to change anything. Just give the connection name. So I'm giving local. Click save and click on the connect. Yes, we have successfully connected to our local MongoDB server from Studio 3T. Before establishing the connection from Studio 3T, make sure you have MongoDB server running on your local machine on port 27017. So this is the Studio 3T that we are going to use in this course as a UI connector to manage our MongoDB database, collections and documents, writing queries and doing a lot of things. So that's all for now. We'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome back. So now we have our MongoDB server running in our local machine and we have connected to the local MongoDB using Studio 3T. So now it's time to create the database. So if you look at here, then by default local DB is created by MongoDB and it has some sort of collection. So we are not going to change anything in the local database. We will create the separate database over here. So for that, just right click on the connection name and click on the add database. Now here we need to provide the name of the database. So I'm giving the name as Spring. You can give any name. I am giving the database name as Spring and just click on the OK. See, the database Spring has been created and this is right now blank because there are no collections as of now. So now we have our database Spring. So in the next lecture, we will proceed further. So see you in the next lecture. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to create the collection in our Spring database. So to create the collection, just right click on the collections and add collection. And here we need to provide the collection name. So in our case, we are going to create the student collection. Now here, we don't need to provide anything else. Just click on the create and see student collection has been created. So it's not like SQL, when we are creating the table in SQL, we are defining the columns, we are defining the data types of the columns, we are giving the constraints, foreign keys and many things over there. But in the case of collection, we just provide the name of the collection. That's it. So you might be thinking how the fields will get handled inside the student collection. So that you will get the better idea in the next lecture, in which we are going to create the documents for the student collection. So now we have our student collection. So in the next lecture, we will see how to create documents under student collection. So we'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, we are going to create documents for our student collection. So for that, you will see one plus icon over here, that is add document. So click on it and you will see the screen like this. So here we need to provide the values for the fields in the format of JSON. See, it's clearly mentioned this is JSON format. So we know that MongoDB stores the documents in the format of JSON. And in JSON, we have key value pair. So say I want to have one document in which name field has value as John. So this is very simple field, name, and its value is John. So click on the add document. See, we have one document and there are a couple of views if you see over here In the drop down, the table view is there. See, the name John is appearing over here. The better is like tree view. And if you expand, see, we have name field which has value as John. And if you look at the underscore ID field, that is being created by the MongoDB. We haven't provided value for it, and it has some value. So it is kind of a primary key that we have in SQL. So it will be very useful to identify a particular document uniquely. So you can consider underscore ID field as primary key in MongoDB, which has unique value for each and every document, so that we can uniquely identify a particular document. And if you see, there is a JSON view as well. So see, we have one field name as John and another is created by MongoDB, that is underscore ID. So this is very simple document with just one field. Now let's create another document. So go over here and again we need to follow the JSON format. So now I'm giving the name field value as Peter, and I want to have mail ID for Peter. So let me give peter@gmail.com. And now I want to have sub document inside the student document. So let me give department. So this is the sub document. So in JSON, we do like this. If you are already aware, then this will be very useful. Now this department is sub document that is inside the document of student collection, and it can have its own set of fields. Say it has department name, and I want to have the department name value as computer science. Let me maximize the window to have better idea. So the department name is computer science, and I want to have the another field as location. So let me give India. Now let's insert this document in the student collection. So click on the add document. So see, we have another document, and to have better idea, go to tree view, expand this. See, name is Peter, mail ID is peter@gmail, and department has two fields. Let's expand the department subdocument, the department name and location. This is what we have provided. And obviously we have underscore ID, which is to uniquely identify a particular document, and it is getting generated by MongoDB. Now let's have another document. Let's maximize this. And now I want to have the name as Steve. So let's have mail ID for Steve. Say steve@gmail.com. Yeah, everyone is using Gmail, you can say. So we are using just Gmail for the example purpose. Don't worry, if you are not using the Gmail, you can give any. This is just an example. So let me have subjects array here. Okay, so we know that we can have the array of subdocuments like subjects. In this document, we don't want to have subdocument department, because in the previous document we had that. Now in this, I want to have array of subdocuments, and that is subjects. So we know that in JSON, we can have array with the square brackets, something like this. So this is the array. Now there will be subdocuments, and that is subject subdocument. So this is one subdocument, and let's have fields as subject underscore name. Let me give Java, and another is marks obtained. Say 70. So this is one subdocument, that is subject subdocument. Now I want to have another subdocument as well. So let me copy this one. We need to provide the comma because this is array, and we need to follow the JSON format. The subject we will change to MongoDB and say marks obtained 80. So here we don't have department subdocument, but we have array of subdocuments, and that is subject subdocuments. Say if you are doing any mistake in the JSON, say I'm not doing this comma over here, you can validate this JSON and click on the validate JSON. See, it will give you error. So let's put this comma back and again click on the validate JSON. So see, it is saying that the document contains valid JSON. So we are good to go. Click on the add document and here it is added. See, if you expand the subjects, it is the array on the 0 index. We have one subdocument, that is subject. So it has two fields, subject name and marks obtained, and another subdocument of subject on the array, that is on the index of 1, and it has subject name and marks obtained. Now let's go to the table view. So if you look at the table view, then you might feel that for this particular document, the mail field has blank value, but that's not true. And that you will get a clear idea by having the tree view or JSON view. Let's go to the tree view and let me collapse this one. See, this particular document doesn't have mail field. This document has, this document has. This document doesn't have department subdocument. This has, this doesn't have. So in MongoDB, each document can have different set of fields. Can you imagine this in SQL? Say for each and every row, you have different number of columns. No, that's not possible, right? Because while creating the table, we are defining the structure, the columns we want to have for that table. But that is SQL and this is NoSQL. And that's the beauty of NoSQL, so that we have flexibility. Each document can have different number of fields and set of fields that it want to save in the particular collection. So you might be thinking, what will happen if we query over the mail? Will it fail? So that we will see in the next lecture when we are going to read the documents for the student collection. So you will get a better idea of this. So see you in the next lecture. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, we will see how to read documents for the particular collection. So this is kind of fair condition that we used to do in SQL. So let's start with very basic thing. Let's get the document which has ID as this one. So just copy this ID. So this ID field is unique for each and every document, right? So if we query through the ID field, then obviously we will get only one document. So just copy this value of _ID field and here we can write the query. So this is a one-liner query editor with long text field. To have better idea, click on the multi-line query editor. So we know that our documents are getting stored in the format of JSON in the MongoDB. So whatever queries we write, we also need to write in the format of JSON. And we know that in JSON we have key value pair. So here we can do, in JSON we have key value pair. So our key is field, that is _ID, and the value is that we copied. So just paste over here and at the bottom right you will find run. See, we got one document. So in SQL, if we talk about, this is where clause, where column equal to value, where ID equal to this value. In MongoDB, we need to provide field value, the key and value in the format of JSON. Now let's query over the name field. I want to get all the document which has name as John and run the query. See, we got one document. Let's try another one. Say I want to get all the documents where the name is Steve. We got one document. We just have one document with name field as Steve, so we are getting one. If we have many, then it will return multiple documents where the name field has value as Steve. Now let me remove all the things from here and just hit the enter to get all the documents and go to the tree view. So we know that the first document doesn't have mail field. So now let's see what will happen when we will query through mail field. So again, go to the multi-line query builder, and in the JSON format, we will do where mail equal to, I want to retrieve say peter@gmail.com. Let's run the query. See, we got one document, and if you go to JSON view, see, the document which doesn't have the mail field will get ignored. It will not cause any error or any issue. So we don't need to insert empty or null value for the particular field in the document when that is not required inside the document. We can simply don't have that field inside the particular document, and it will not cause any issue because this is NoSQL and we have flexibility for that. So this is how you can write the basic query in the MongoDB. So this is the where query if we compare it to SQL. We will see some more read operations in the next lecture. So see you in the next lecture. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome back. In this lecture, we will see how to write AND query and OR query in MongoDB. Say for an example, we want to retrieve all the documents where the name is Peter and the mail ID is peter@gmail.com. So let's see how we can write the AND query in MongoDB. So let's go to the query builder, and we need to write in the format of JSON. So with the curly braces start, we need to provide the operator with the $sign. So in our case, it's AND operator. Now this AND is basically an array because we have condition on multiple fields like name, email ID, etc. etc. So this will be array. So we know that in JSON we will give array with the square brackets. And now here we need to provide the where condition. I'm just giving some reference to SQL terms so that it will be easy to understand how to write AND query. So in the previous lecture we have already written one where clause. So we know that it's in the pair of key value. So where name is Peter. So this is one condition. Now with the AND operator we want to have another condition. So this is an array, so we will have another condition that email ID is peter@gmail.com. That means that we want to retrieve all the documents where the name is Peter and email ID is peter@gmail.com. So this is one where condition to match the field and value. This is another one, and we want to have AND operator between these two, and that is defined over here. So let's run this query. We got one document. Now let's modify and just remove the P from the name. We will not get any document. That's correct. Now in the same way we can write the OR query as well. We just need to replace this operator AND with OR. Let's run the query. So here the name is not matching because we removed P and the name is Peter in the document. But the email ID is matching, the peter@gmail.com, and we have OR condition. That means that retrieve all the documents where the name is this one. Obviously we removed P, so I'm not pronouncing it. Or the email ID is peter@gmail.com. Now let's modify this OR condition. Let's retrieve all the documents where the name is John or the email ID is peter@gmail.com. So we will get two documents. The name is matching and here the email ID is matching, and hence we got two records with our OR query. So this is how you can write the AND query and OR query in MongoDB. So that's all for now. We'll see you in the next lecture. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, then please subscribe to the channel. And to get the complete course, that is MongoDB with Spring Boot, please click on the link that is given in the description. So see you soon. Till then, happy learning and happy coding.